So here's a word we have not heard used by a lot of people connected to the NFL in describing Colin Kaepernick: hero. And that word comes from no less an authority than Brett Favre. The legendary quarterback is now speaking out. He talked to TMZ Sports about the NFL's change of heart. You know, of course, that Commissioner Goodell apologized to players, saying they should have listened to the protests when they were going on. He never mentioned Colin Kaepernick, and that's one of the things that Brett Favre was talking to TMZ Sports about. And this is his take on how Colin Kaepernick should be recognized by the NFL.
I suppose that he's helped this cause tremendously, and is deserving of much praise and respect, because it's not easy for a guy his age, black or white, Hispanic, whatever, to stop something that you've always dreamed of doing and put it on hold, maybe forever, for something that you believe in. You know, I can only think of, right off the top of my head, Pat Tillman's another guy who did something, you know, similar. And we regard him as a hero. So I assume that hero status will be stamped with Kaepernick as well.
I got to say, that's what you wanted to hear from Roger Goodell.
You do. And what I think is important is when someone like Brett Favre, who's held in such high regard in the league, says it, that maybe that can bridge whatever gap, because clearly there's still some gap between Colin Kaepernick and the league. Right. Or the league officials. The fact that
Charles, I think it's pretty obvious. Roger Goodell does not like Colin Kaepernick.
That's how it plays, because he didn't say his name when he was clearly talking about him. So maybe this helps to bridge that gap. I just think it's important that more people who are involved in the league, you want to hear it from owners, you want to hear it from the commissioner, but this is a start. Definitely a step in the right direction.
To me, the most powerful part of this statement is invoking Pat Tillman. What Pat Tillman gave up and what he sacrifices, the ultimate sacrifice that anybody could ever imagine, you know, going out there and fighting for your country and losing your life. And for him to put Colin in the same stratosphere as Pat, it brings more eyeballs to the situation, and it brings more awareness to what Colin perhaps did give up. I mean, as Brett said, he said, this is something Colin worked his entire life for. He worked tirelessly, years at college and football and pros to be the best quarterback ever, and he gave it all up to fight for social justice. And while it is powerful to bring up Pat Tillman, and it is, you know, I don't know whether it's apples and oranges or apples and apples, but just to put Pat Tillman in there makes people read this article, and it makes people think Colin did give up something for this.
But it is apples to apples, I think, with Tillman, because the whole idea is that they had amazing careers in the NFL. They could make a lot of money for the future, but they, you know, in Tillman's case, he wanted to serve the country, and in Colin Kaepernick's case, he wanted to serve the country.
Yeah, he's also serving the country. Absolutely.
By going on a crusade for justice.
Hi, I'm Ashley Molly James, a model from the DMV. And I think it's great that Brett Favre acknowledged that, you know, what Colin Kaepernick did was definitely courageous, and he deserves a shot back in the league. So hopefully, you know, the LA Chargers are considering letting him try out. So maybe that'll be his chance to kind of get back in there.
Yeah, that would be I got to tell you, that would be tremendous.
That would be justice.
Yes.